Good morning, everyone. I'm very happy and proud to be here representing Italy and having the chance to discuss with you about the development of vocational education and how to improve the international system of specialist training. The first remark I would like to state is that the creativity is individual, singularity, and the innovation is collective, plurality. By this, I mean that it's essential to improve the individual intelligences in a social system that is much as participatory, articulated, and inclusive as possible. Now I'm going to tell you what are we doing in Italy to face the future challenges. Lately, our government has been focused on a great reform of skills system in overall terms. As a Ministry of Economic Development, we have set up an expert task force in blockchain and artificial intelligence to determine the strategy to use with the greatest minds in the country. At the same time, we joined the partnership for a European blockchain. In order to help enterprises, we introduced the Chief Innovation Manager as an innovation director to develop production and improve productivity. We have established the National Innovation Fund to promote an IDA infrastructure that promotes innovation by financing technological startups as a real venture capital fund. In the school department, we have launched a national plan for digital education, which is a policy launch for setting up a comprehensive innovation strategy across Italy's school system and bringing it into the digital age, introducing digital skills since primary schools. Last but not least, we've started the reform of the job centers with powerful investments never made before. Now it's time for a quick focus on the educational and training system in Italy. We are focused on rethinking the formal definition of job profiles and to overcome their traditional scheme that includes tasks, professions and crafts. So we need to act directly on new roles emerging in several working fields. One of the priorities is to establish a new educational system combining training, valorization of person, and professional qualification. This process happens within the context on the strategic objectives and priority areas of the European Programme Education and Training 2020, together with Europe 2020, a 10-year strategy aiming at a smart, sustainable, and inclusive growth. Despite this complex scenario, we managed to comply with the European legislative framework on VET, vocational education training, in particular on apprenticeship, lifelong learning and certification of competencies. A main issue in the VET policy agenda is apprenticeship, a primary instrument for promoting work of young people. The national legal framework on apprenticeship provides apprenticeship as a job contract comprised of both on-the-job and classroom training. It is structured on three main schemes targeted at different target groups of young people. 1. A partnership leading to a professional operator certificate and a professional technician diploma, an upper secondary school diploma, a higher technical specialization certification. 2. Professional training apprenticeship. 3. Higher education and research apprenticeship. The recent reforms brought to several benefits and goals. For instance, best quality of on-job provided training, better integration of the skills acquired through education and formal learning with those acquired on job, improvement of school work transition, reduction of the early school leavers, increase of the education level of the population, development of the vertical and horizontal mobility, raise of the attractiveness for learners and campaigns through financial incentives and simplification measure for hiring young people, unemployed or need. In these last years, Italy has taken significant steps to reform its apprenticeship system and introduce mandatory work-related learning in upper secondary education, including VET, to secure employers' involvement in work-based learning through agreements and incentives, to adopt measures to improve quality assurance mechanism and the information system which guides the development of initial and continuing VET. Launch a national strategy to support the development of key competencies in initial VET. In conclusion, all the initiatives promoted by the governments are useful in pursuing the transition of the current digital and technological revolution, and the best deal with it is to put the person at the center as masterpiece in the society. This is what I've personally learned in my life. Investments in emerging technologies must go hand in hand with investments in human capital. This inevitably means involving the whole society, including the least, the socially disadvantaged, by breaking down the barriers of social inequality. Basic income and minimum wage are true and important measures to adopt. Globalization must be a chance to share knowledge, opportunities, work, protection, and wealth. Thank you for listening, and thank you very much for the invitation.
Thank you, Mr. Cominardi.